I didn't realize I was hurt very bad. And so I started shifting around in my position to fire right-handed, since I figured that the blood just kept pouring over my eye, not realizing my eye was gone. In the time it took me to shift in the rubble and get behind my weapon right-handed, my partner had low-crawled through the gunfire and got a hold of my left foot and pulled me out of my position, at which point I turned back into a staff sergeant again, saying, "What the hell are you doing, specialist?" And he was so calm, and he just said, "Sergeant, you're hurt. You're hurt, Sergeant." They said I may not make it, that something could happen to me and I might die. Most of the other soldiers I know that have received penetrating head wounds have trouble talking, have trouble walking. I'm able to speak clearly. I have some trouble with walking, with my balance a little bit, but compared to them, I have really, fortunately, had a very miraculous recovery from the head trauma that I suffered. Being in the Army and serving my country meant that I needed to be infantry. I needed to be what they called the tip of the spear. I was never going to go back to sniper operations again. I was never going to be allowed to go back to Iraq. After much contemplation, I came to understand that if I couldn't be one of those infantry soldiers, I didn't want to be in the Army anymore. It's difficult. There's a great deal of depression, and so I spent a lot of time sitting around feeling sorry for myself. They have a thing called the God complex for snipers, because we decide if someone lives or not. And it's a complex that all snipers have to go through to some degree. When we know by the squeeze of our trigger that we can send someone out of living, we can kill someone, and they will never know that their death is coming. I was one of the rare people that stayed in sniper operations and reconnaissance for so long. I did it for 9.5 years. Most people will do that type of work for 2 or 3 years, and then they move on to something else. Eventually, you play bullet catcher if you do it long enough. And that was my day to play bullet catcher. I don't specifically have any hard feelings toward the Iraqi that shot me, because I know that I could very well have shot him. For me, squeezing a trigger to actually kill a human being is one of the hardest things I've ever done. And so I would feel myself like I had murdered someone when I shot them, and had to go through all the justifications afterward. Now I can spend an entire afternoon sitting on my porch thinking about Iraq, and have an entire afternoon disappear and not realize it because I was thinking about what we did over there. That hurts, and yet I can't stop thinking about it. So it's more difficult now. After it's all over, now I get to think about it obsessively, dream about it all the time. It takes young men to go fight a war, because young men romanticize the idea of being in combat until they've been there. After they've been there, they know the truth. Yet I have so much passion inside me for the fighting that we did around Fallujah that I have a desire deep down inside to go back and just shoot as many of them as I can. And that's not like me. But I just wish I could go back